Welcome everyone. My name is Aparna and I welcome you to my YouTube channel. And I hope you've checked out some of my videos that I've already posted. And today I want to present to you a really beautiful piece of knowledge from the Vedic yogic traditions. Something that has deeply intrigued me and guided me in working on myself many years ago. So I have a question for you. Do you ever feel like something undeniable and invisible is holding you back in your life? Like there's a pattern, a loop, or a force that keeps you from becoming fully who you are meant to be. And there's always a glitch and you can't figure it out. And it feels like a big obstruction and a challenge in your life. So in the ancient yogic and tantric traditions, these are called granthis or psychic knots or energetic ties. And they're present within our energy system and they restrict us from access to certain powers or abilities or capacity to overcome things. And they can seem very debilitating, but ultimately they're there for our evolution. And in some of the ancient texts, they say that the human beings were born with these knots open a long time ago in other yugas. And they were free and luminous and were able to connect to even their past lives and live in great truth and harmony. But as the yugas rolled on and as consciousness declined, particularly in our time, more and more locks became present within us. So there are 3 granthis and then there are 2 more. And I would like to share a little bit with you about each of them. And just know that whichever granthi you might be struggling with, our sages and rishis always had solutions to all of life's problems. So they didn't just leave us hanging with problems, but they also offered us the most beautiful, spiritually oriented solutions. So let's begin with Brahma Granthi. It's at the Mooladhara, the root chakra, and this is the first knot, and it keeps, you can say, our soul bound to this physical reality and this physical body. And in a way, you can say that we really need to forget the past when we're reborn here. And this Brahma Granthi, in a way, keeps us here in this body, in this lifetime. And it ensures that our primary drivers remain hunger, physical intimacy or procreation, and fear. And these are basic instincts that we need in order to survive. And it is said that past life memories, excuse me, are stored in the Brahma Granthi. And when it's the right time, when that knot is opened, much becomes available to us. So sexual energy fuels this Brahma Granthi along with survival. And when this is externalized, it strengthens our bonds, our bondage to this world, to these relationships, to these instinctive fears and desires. And when we conserve this energy and we internalize it, and in fact we sublimate it and alchemize it, it begins to break open. So how do we break this Brahma Granthi? By consciously channeling this energy upward, as I was just saying, into the heart, sublimating these instinctual desires and fears upward, and from the heart even beyond, allowing it to dissolve into spaciousness or akasha. And it is said that when Brahma Granthi is pierced, we become free of our compulsive fears and our instinctual urges. And what happens when we do that? We can truly feel the stability, the strength, and the groundedness of the root chakra, which really is the foundation of our life, our survival, our thriving, our higher purpose, and so on and so forth. Then we go to the Vishnu Granthi. Here we hold our karmic emotional lock. And this is very important because many people dwell in their emotional realm, stirring the pot of karma and creating immense suffering for oneself. And the chakra that is associated with the Vishnu Granthi is the Anahata heart chakra. And this Granthi ensures that we reincarnate with emotional patterns again and again until we learn those karmic lessons. So, for example, if somebody comes in with a great fear of abandonment in their karmic imprint, they will experience it again and again until they overcome this fear of abandonment, and then they're free of this karma and they can live from their highest place afterwards. So the emotions that we carry, especially it is said in the moment of death, can be imprinted into our next birth through Vishnu Granthi. So there are so many reasons to do this deep, deep spiritual work. One of them being, how do I want my life to be when I return? What kind of experiences do I want to have? So for the emotional realm, practices during full moon, new moon are great times to rewrite these emotional patterns. And when we transcend Vishnu Granthi, when we break this psychic knot, this lock, a very beautiful thing happens. Love is no longer personal or binding. You know, so many of us get trapped in this personal love. He belongs to me. She is mine. You can only do that with me, or I can only show love to you in a certain way. And we can come into this very profound universal love, you know, this feeling of unconditional love that I'm already the expression of love and divinity. And so whether I see a baby or a puppy or a beautiful scene, or when I go to the temple, that love and that fullness is going with me wherever I am. And when Vishnu Granthi is unlocked, we're able to be in a sweet, beautiful state of bliss, experience contentment and devotion and fullness. Very beautiful, beautiful state to be in. And then we have Rudra Granthi. And the Rudra Granthi is associated with the Agya Chakra and the Sahasrara. So the command center, some call it third eye, but it's the command center, and the crown chakra. And when we have a lot tied up in the Rudra Granthi, we can't really access higher dimensions and cosmic experiences. So when Rudra Granthi is untied too quickly, it is also possible that we may experience hallucinations, we may feel very disoriented and feel like our ego has died. So through some very gentle practices, such as the Om chanting, even the Shambhavi Mudra, this knot can be softened and we can allow the light of higher consciousness to flow within us and also flow above into Akasha and ether, where we feel that that connection to all of life, the whole universe and beyond, and we feel like we're part of everything. And here we don't experience the ego. The individual self, the I-ness that I am, will merge into the universal self. Now, there is also the Surya Granthi, and this is associated with the Manipura Chakra, the solar plexus region, also known as the navel chakra. This is somewhat of a lesser known knot, and it keeps us trapped in intellectual evolution without actual spiritual liberation. So doing a lot of intellectual reading and keeping everything on the mental level, but not really like experiencing it on the heart level. So pranayama can be very helpful to unlock this. And in the Lalita Sahasranam, they refer to the great mother, Lalita Devi, as she is the one who shines brighter than the sun. And reminding us that when we truly surrender to the divine, this grace can unlock this Surya Granthi. So you can ask yourself, where is my spiritual practice? What am I doing? Am I doing it regularly? Am I committed to it? And so on and so forth. And then we have Chandra Granthi, Chandra, moon, and this is associated with Swadhisthana, the sacral chakra. And this knot manipulates our dreams, our subconscious thoughts, our primal fears. And during the full and the new moon, we can have reset points where we can reinforce new emotional programs and transcend some of our traps. And when we transcend this Chandra Granthi, we stop being swayed by collective emotional tides. Imagine that. And we can step into clarity. We can be sovereign in our own inner world. So I've just shared 5, but apparently there are 1,200 Granthis in the energy body anchored inside the physical body. So I am hoping that this is inspiring to you and it makes you be curious to ask yourself, where am I trapped? Which Granthi am I locked up in? And please know that every mantra, every asana, every kriya and pranayama that you practice is gently untying these knots. And of course, we may not pierce them overnight, but with every breath, with every act of awareness, every bit of intention, you move closer and closer to your freedom, your evolution. And you can, when you think about the Granthis, you can see it as a journey from any kind of karmic bondage to your mukti or your liberation. You can see it as, I had forgotten and now I remember. You know, I can go from the unending needs and demands of the small self to the expansiveness of my infinite self. Because beyond these Granthis lies who you truly are. You are luminous, you are boundless, you are free. And this is the work, to not fight the knots, to not force them to open, but to soften around them, to allow divine grace, devotion, and awareness, this inner awareness to do their work. And I invite you to sit in mauna or silence and sit in the feeling and the experience of akasha, spaciousness. And that's when we invite the divine to help us to untie what we cannot untie ourselves. And when we make effort we will naturally draw divine grace to ourselves. And as we untie these knots one at a time, we truly remember who we are. And so I'm curious to know, are you ready to walk this path of unlocking the Granthis? Please comment below and give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, if you learned something. And if you wish to explore this kind of healing with me, you can visit my website in the description box and you can message me and we can set up a little time to chat if you're serious about it. And I thank you so much for spending your precious time with me here. It means a lot. Namaskaram.